while we know that there is a boundary and we've drawn out these national parks and sanctuaries, nobody bothered to tell the tiger or an elephant that this is your boundary and you can't really. Just last week, WWF put out this major report. Basically found that humanity has wiped out 60% of mammals, bird and fish and reptiles since 1970. Now, just to kind of give you what it really means, for example, if 60% of Homo sapiens were to have been wiped out, that would have been most of Asia emptying out. And that's a huge problem. While conservation activities might work, for example, there are some figures which says that conservation has made tiger population to increase by 20% in India. But the problem really is that we are consuming at a level that is not sustainable. And with high amount of consumption, we are now required to clear out forest lands to convert them into farmlands. Similarly, we clear forest lands in Maharashtra to either make mines or build up SEZs, so many things that we do. And human beings and animals are now in direct war with one another for the resources that exist, and sometimes just the resources that human beings creates for himself. While this huge amount of human activity, we are giving access to these animals for huge high calorie good quality food, right? And for example, when you grow paddy next to an elephant habitat, just put yourself in an elephant's place. Why would an elephant want to walk around all through the day in a jungle foraging when it could just quickly come, take that high risk and raid a paddy field, get the energy that it requires? Majority of the time, we have people who write to us saying that, what can I do? Like literally living in a city, Bangalore, Bombay, what can I do? Obviously, you could sign a petition or make feel good by sharing something on Facebook or WhatsApp. But the solution really is that for a long-term sustenance of humanity, and if we believe that just survival of humanity is extremely important, then we need to ensure that we protect biodiversity. There is a direct link between protection of diversity and the long-term future. There's also a direct link with food systems and depletion of wildlife, depletion of forest land. So making an informed choice when you consume as to what is the impact of that particular consumption, so that what ends up happening is that you're pushing biodiversity just by creating the economy for biodiversity. At this particular point of time, we've created an economy for monoculture because we all like to eat white rice. We all like to eat broiler chicken. So we're paying for people to kind of not necessarily take care of biodiversity. A lot of this thing, it could be, for example, consuming less animal source protein, just diversifying the protein intake in your diet, going back and eating more native grains, adding millets to your diet. If you're working in a corporate, go to your canteen and say, hey, can we kind of diversify? Can we have some sort of a millet, ragi, bajra into our food, so that we're not necessarily just supporting these monoculture. Similarly, it could be with relation to the greens or the vegetables that you eat, just adding the diversity. So that's something that you and me as individuals can do. And if we really want to sustain this planet over next few centuries or just for the future of humanity, we need to be looking at long-term solutions to these problems, which are at a micro level and not get super romanticized by macro solution to human-animal conflict or even habitat loss as an issue.